Buenas tardes, yo soy el doctor Casas y esta es la hora con el doctor Casas. Hoy tenemos una llamada de una señora que se llama Alma. Vamos a estar hablando de apoyo a los veteranos. Aquí empezamos. Alma, let's go ahead. Give me the background on your brother again and we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, give me the background on your brother again.
Okay. So my brother is a Navy vet, and he was recently diagnosed with colorectal cancer, stage 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he's has a lot of appointments scheduled. A couple of them with the General Hospital, and then we're also waiting for some appointments at the VA for him with the oncologist.
I understand. Now let's not use his name since we don't know if he wants his name put out.
Right.
So what questions do you have of me regarding behavioral health support for your brother, and given that he's got a serious diagnosis?
Right. Well, I guess more like for the family, it's very touchy because my other brother, which is the youngest one, was recently diagnosed with also with a tumor last year recently.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his kidney removed. So that just happened last year. And then we have to be very sensitive about, my mom's elderly and she's frail and she has chronic conditions. So we're just trying to see how we can best support him through this.
Yeah.
As a family.
So a couple of thoughts, and again for the listeners of my channel, Alma and we met. We were at Mass, and she and her boyfriend came up and said hi and introduced themselves. And then she told me about her brother, who's a Navy vet.
Yes.
And my first question, given that we're Catholic, and given that he has a serious diagnosis, my first question was, did he go to confession? And the answer was yes. So Alma, the first big theme on this one is, and this is my opinion, is stay close to Christ. That is critical in these issues. And it sounds like, from the little I know about your brother, that he is staying close to Christ. Is that correct or not correct?
Yes. He's very strong in his faith, so he definitely is.
Okay, so let's move on. Again, this is my opinion. Does he have any memories that he would like to heal so that he doesn't have any regrets?
When we were in the hospital, he did ask for a priest, to speak to a priest.
Okay.
So that he can confess.
Okay.
Because he was very worried about that, about not confessing. So he mentioned two things that are very private. So if he wants to disclose them,
let's not go into those. I absolutely don't want to go into those.
Right. Okay.
You've given a really good answer, and for the listeners, this goes back to one of my main themes: is stay close to Christ.
Right.
But when I say any memories he wants to heal, any regrets, is there anything looking back that, given where he's at right now with a very serious diagnosis, and you mentioned it was stage 4, correct?
Correct. Yeah, metastasis. So it's metastasized, so it's stage 4.
And right now, is he bedbound at this point?
He's somewhat bedbound. He's very weak. So he had an appointment today with the oncologist. So my sister, luckily we have my dad's wheelchair. So she used his wheelchair because he's very weak. Yeah.
So what things would he like to do that he can do at this stage of his life?
I know one, he wants to continue with his faith and practicing his faith. He would like to go to church, but he's still too weak. And we just found out that he's going to start chemo this week. Okay. So definitely my mom brought someone last Sunday to give him the Holy Oath. So that's something that he looks forward to. So.
And so where I'm going with this is, and this
Mm,
really depends on how much strength he has based on his medical condition. Is there anything he enjoys doing? I am really big on the idea of breathing the fresh air. You get outside, you breathe the fresh air. Whatever that means to each of us. If
right.
he's in a wheelchair, would he enjoy going up to the Arboretum here in Arcadia? Would he like to go
Oh.
out to Lake out in South del Monte?
Mm.
Whatever that means to him, or maybe all he can manage is someone to take him around the block in a wheelchair.
Right. You know what he does that we just talked about it actually before I spoke with you. Because my mom has she's like loves plants, so she has a small yard with a lot of plants. So he does enjoy being out there, getting sun. So that's something that he has enjoyed when he's able to, when the sun is out, is sitting out there and just getting some sun and breathing the fresh air.
And that sounds simple, and it is simple, and it's also very important to him, right? So I want to make sure that I encourage you to follow up on that with him. If that's what he enjoys doing with whatever time he has left, then you want to make sure you support that so he can actually do that.
Right. Okay.
Now let me ask you this. Is he associated with any vet groups, any veterans groups?
No. So his first appointment at the VA was last week, Friday. So we, depending on how he feels, I did want to take him to a service connection. They're gonna have like a resource fair type of thing at the East LA Veterans Clinic. So I let him know, depending on how he feels, we'll take him so that he can get connected services and see what they have. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, because on Friday when we took him to his appointment, the medical assistant that was taking his vitals was also in the Navy, and they were talking like military language, I guess, that I didn't understand, but I saw how his face lit up, and they had a lot in common as far as being in the same ship and around the same time. So I saw like that camaraderie and like how his face, like I hadn't seen him like brighten up like that since kind of he's been sick. So that brought him, I think, some happiness, talking to another vet.
And it's really important since he has that camaraderie and that closeness. If you can get him linked up with a veteran support group, if you can take him to the Veterans of Foreign War, American Legion, whatever is important to him should be important to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you need help on that, I'll be happy to go with him.
Oh, thank you so much.
Right?
Thank you.
That
means a lot.
I just need the date and the time and where you need me to link up with you so we can take them over and get them involved with vets.
Thank you.
That's important. I'm gonna transition to the next segue of this, which the other reason that's important is, if his time is limited with us, does he want to be recognized as a vet at his funeral?
I think so, because that's one of the questions he asked the VA doctor about burial services. So that's one of his benefits. And the doctor told him that he could talk to someone there. So the social worker was going to call him. And I believe so. It sounds like he's interested in that. He did ask.
And that's important to me. If it's important to your brother, it's important to me. And I know enough of the veterans groups, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and I'll include Coast Guard for all the wonderful things that the Coast Guard does now. I have enough connections that if he wants to be recognized as a vet at his funeral, we can arrange for him to have military honors at his funeral. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, and thank you.
So I just need, as that time gets closer, I just need more details so I can reach out to the appropriate people, and we can make that happen, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you. These are all great ideas that I think right now, because we have so much, like we're really concerned about him and so much going on, that our minds are not clear, like to think about these things, but this is very helpful. Thank you so much.
No, you're more than welcome. And for the family, so we've talked about him a bit. And if you want me to
Mhm.
meet him, I'm happy to drive out wherever he's at and spend a few minutes with him. Um, I'd be honored to do so.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Moving to the family,
Mhm.
you all have limited time. You want to make the best of the memories between now and when God calls him home. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So whatever that means to each of you, whatever you want that special memory, whatever that is, you want to make the best of it between now and when God calls him home. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I don't want any of you to have regrets after he passes away on things you wish you would have said or things you wish you would have done that he can still do now.
Right, right.
Okay?
And I thank you for saying that, because this is unfortunately, under these circumstances, is when we're getting to know our brother more, where we're getting closer to him, and I know I don't think of the shoulda, coulda, woulda, but you're right, all of that, that crosses my mind, and I want to spend as much time as I can with him, but also doing things that he enjoys and he's able to do. I was at the store the other day, and he's a great artist. I don't think he left that when he was a kid. He stopped doing that as a kid, and I was thinking, like, well, I should ask him if he wants me to bring him some some materials for him to sketch something that he used to enjoy doing before.
If that's what he enjoys doing, and you might want to enjoy doing that with him, you get the intro sketch kit from wherever they sell those things at, and
Uh-huh.
and you have at it, right? And you have a great
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
you enjoy talking about life, and you have
Yeah.
those wonderful memories that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
Right.
What other questions do you have of me?
Well, I guess it was individually, for me, but I know our family is gonna, everybody, I think is coping with it in their own way. Um, but we come from a family where we don't talk about our emotions or our feelings.
Hmm.
And I think that's what's it's brought us closer right now, but we haven't really, opened up to each other. Like, hey, how are you feeling? How do you feel about this? Because I think everybody's dealing with it in their own way that they know how to deal with it. I know my nephews and nieces, when they went and saw him at the hospital, it was hard on them. They started crying because that's, their uncle that's always there for them. And yeah, but I guess also for my nephews and nieces, because they're feeling this as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and how to
so
support them.
so one thing you might want to do is, as time gets closer, or anytime between now and then, is
Uh-huh.
you have a family dinner. And you say, you know what, we're giving this one for my brother. Again, we won't say his name on my YouTube channel. But
Okay.
you're gonna say, well, we're gonna have dinner for my brother, and we're all gonna share the important things about him here.
Mhm.
And you all just have at it. Um, Let me give you an example of what that looks like.
Okay.
Um, for All Souls Day, for those of you who are not Catholic, November 1st is All Souls Day. And this one will remember those who have gone before us. In my family, we have a dinner, and my older sister, Maria, she has a dinner at her place. Very traditional
Okay.
Mexicano dinner. Incredible dinner. Um, but before we have dinner, we have a portion where we say prayer, and then everyone shares about someone they've lost, and someone who's gone before us, a story, or someone who lost, who passed away that year. And for me, I've literally shared friends of mine who I've lost on deployments. Or I think I can think of one friend right now who I lost when I was not deployed and he was deployed. Great friend. I won't go into details. It's a wrong time and place for that. But I got to share with my family about that loss. And for you all, Alma, where I'm going with this is everyone can share with your brother how important he is to them and the importance that he's played in their lives, right? Because that gives meaning to him to know that he made a difference to other people's lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. But yeah, I guess it did make sense. And I think he would love to hear that because he's always provides and he's always there for us and whatever we need, but he never asks us for anything in return. So I think that's a really good idea.
Oh yeah. The sooner the better. The more energy he has, and you all share your wonderful memories. And again, if you have that nice Mexicano dinner, you have the nopales, the homemade tamales, the homemade frijoles by hand, the arroz, the mole, right? And then you all have together, and the tortillas, hopefully made by hand, and you all just have a nice family dinner, and then you all share your thoughts to your brother, and you all have that wonderful memory that when it's his time to pass away and go home with Christ, that you all have that wonderful memory of what you shared before he passed away.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I'm definitely going to share that with my sister, the one that's really involved with his care. So I'll definitely share that, and that sounds like a very good idea, and I think he would like that.
What other questions or thoughts do you have for me, Alma?
Mostly, we're worried about how and when and who should let my mom know, because we haven't told our mom anything. My mom has no idea. She knows he's sick and he lives with her, but we're taking a lot of precaution because she's elderly again, and we're just really worried on how she's gonna process this and take this when she hears, because
even as you're talking, I'm like, I want to jump in here on this conversation on this issue because, and I'll give you my view. This is Dr. Casas' view on this issue, and that is, bad news only gets worse with time. Right? Okay. That's just Army Leadership 101. Bad news only gets worse with time. Okay. So, and where I'm going with this is, she has a right to know, and she has a right on to talk about it with him before his time comes. Right? So again, this is my opinion. She should know the sooner the better, unless there's some emergent condition where if she found out, it might cause a medical emergency. But other than that, I would suspect that she's probably more mature than both of us combined. She probably has a better handle on it, and there's some things she probably wants to say to her son before he passes away. Right. Make sense?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Any other thoughts?
No, just mostly those. This is very helpful. You're giving me really good ideas and feedback, and I'll definitely, go back with my sister and share this, and especially about my mom, because we're so worried about how she's gonna handle it. But I think I see, your input or where you're coming from about letting her know the sooner than later, and asking my brother, if he wants to be the one to tell her or who should be there when he tells her, because my mom is his best friend. They're each other's best friends. It's 7 of us, but he's the one that spends that more of that quality time because he lives there, and then they enjoy listening to like different speakers that everything's based on the Catholic Church and so forth, and so they share that together when he would come home from work, where like she's, oh, can you put this on for me, or they're having this mass, and that's their quality time. So
Agreed. Um, anything else or are you good to go at this point?
No, at this point I'm good. Thank you. This was very, very helpful. And thank you. It was there. My friend says there's God incidences, and I think you were one of them. It was no accident that I met you. I rarely go to that time at mass, but I think God puts the people in our lives, in our paths for a reason, and you're one of them. And I just want to say thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. I'm going to add some thoughts tomorrow, not today. I think we're stopping at a good place for you. But tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm going to add some related thoughts on what I call daily active self-care. And it will apply to you and your family. I'm not going to talk about it more now. But I just want to say and close with this and say I was honored to be here to support you. And I'm honored to have supported one of our veterans.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dr. Casas.
Stay close to Christ. Adiós.
Will do. Adiós. Bye-bye.
Y esta ha sido la hora con el Dr. Casas.